Hi everyone, this is Pranav. Today we will be looking at a problem called transform numbers. So the problem statement says that you are given a dictionary of digit mappings and a number represented as a string. Write a recursive function transform number that replaces each digit in the number with its mapping and returns the transform number. Note, if a digit does not have a mapping, it should remain unchanged. So we will look at the sample input provided. So digit map is basically a dictionary having key value pairs, where each key represents one number and the value is the number which it is mapped to. So 1 is mapped to 9, 5 is mapped to 7, and your input string number is, your number itself is input as a string as mentioned over here. The number is represented as a string. So you are given 1551 in a string. Now what your function has to do is convert this with accordance to this dictionary. So 1551 is now changed to 9779. So you can see 1 is mapped to 9 in the starting and in the end, and the middle two digits 5 are mapped to 7. So your sample output says 9779. So now we will write a code for this in a recursive manner. Let us now look at the solution code to this particular problem. Note that this problem is easily solved using iterations, maybe a for loop, but the reason why we take up recursion here is to give you an idea of how recursive functions would work in the most basic manner. So we will go on to define the function def transform underscore number. Now this is going to take as argument a string, which is basically our number, and then a digit map, and then what we are going to pass as the third argument is the string which we will return, that is the transformed string. So I will just name it as transform, and we will go on to write the solution now. So every recursive function has a base case. So the base case here would be that particular case when your number is no longer available, that is at every recursive call you are going to exclude the first character from that string. So let us just look at a more detailed explanation to that. So let us say you have a number 1551 as we saw in the sample input. Now when you pass it as the initial function call, let us say this is my function transform underscore number, and initially I pass 1551 as a string, right? Now after the first call is done, I would somehow exclude the first character. So I am going character by character. So what I do is, for every character I change it to the corresponding mapping and store it in my new string called transform. So that is what we will be achieving. So what we intend to do is, at every recursive call we exclude one number at a time after it has been mapped. So in the first call I would map 1 to 9 and I would call the recursive function on the remaining digits, that is basically 1 colon. So this would exclude my 1 and pass 551. Now my transformed string already has the transformed 1 as 9. Now in the second recursive call 5 is changed to its mapping. So if I don't remember correctly, it was 7. So it was 7 over here, and now your next recursive call again would exclude this 5 and pass only 51 as the next number, and now the following recursive call will again change it to 977 and remove this 5 and finally 9. So this is how we will be achieving this particular recursive function. Now note that at every call we were excluding the first character, right? So at one point the string is going to become empty. So that is what we will consider as a base case over here. So let us go back to our code. Let us now write our base case as we had discussed. So if my number is not present, what I would be doing is just return the transformed string so far. So return transform. Now in the else part, what we do is achieve our transformations. So we already saw that at each recursive call we will be transforming the first character or the first digit of the number. So let us just store that digit equals number of 0. Since number is a string, I can access the 0th index, which is basically the first character. So now if my digit is present in my digit map, so if digit in digit underscore map, so I am just checking if my digit has a mapping. If so, my transformed string is going to take a new character with a transform digit. So, transform plus equal to digit underscore map of digit. So, I am basically storing the transform digit in my string. Now, in my else part, that is if my digit is not present in my digit map, I directly append my digit without any mapping. So, this is how we will achieve the transformations. Now, after this is done, what is left out is our recursive call. So, now our recursive call is going to be the last two parameters remain the same. The first one is what changes, as we had already discussed, as number of 1 colon. So, we basically exclude the first character or the 0th index and move on. So, you return transform underscore number of 1 colon. So, this will take the first index up till the last with the same digit map and the same string. So, this string called transform gets cumulatively added with the digits as we progress and finally gets returned in this base case. So, now let us run our sample test cases and check if our code is correct. So, let me just paste the digit map and the number from our sample input and let us just print the function. And the string we will be passing is our empty string, because initially we pass it an empty string which gets populated at each recursive call. Okay, we made a typo over here, it should be transform. Now let us run our test case. Yeah, so we get our expected output, which is 9779, which as we can see in the sample output. Now let us just make a slight modification to the test case and see what happens if we give 1553. So as we had already discussed, when it is 3, the number should be unchanged because 3 does not have a mapping in the digit map. So let us check our output. Yeah, so it remains 9773. So the first 3 digits 155 which have a mapping gets changed and the last digit 3 remains unchanged. So that will be the solution to this problem. Thank you.